Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
A rare episode of The Adventures of Philip Marlowe. This episode does not star Gerald Mohr, does not star Van Heflin. In fact, it stars William Conrad, and we really don't know why. This episode, entitled The Anniversary Gift, it was originally broadcast April 11th, 1950.
Get this and get it straight. Crime is a sucker's road, and those who travel it wind up in the gutter, the prison, or the grave. This time, a platinum wristwatch, a body on a lonely strip of beach, and a case of heart failure in a Beverly Hills garage, all added up to blackmail, 25 years old, and a killer who would never be caught. It happened like this.
From the pen of Raymond Chandler, outstanding author of crime fiction, comes his most famous character in The Adventures of Philip Marlowe. And now we bring you tonight's exciting story, The Anniversary Gift.
We turn left at the next corner, cabby.
Okay. Boy, this Beverly Hills in a sunny afternoon is really something, ain't it?
Yeah.
Wide streets, classy homes. Boy, these jokers got it made. Some life. Nothing ever gets to them to bother them except the income tax, maybe. Yep. Here it is, mister. 8834 Beverly Road. What a joint.
Yeah. Wait for me, huh?
Sure, mister.
The door was answered by a girl of about 16, a tall, slender girl with dark eyes, too deep for her years.
Oh, come in, won't you? I believe Dad's expecting you.
She led me across a living room as dignified as the lobby of a bank to a door that she opened.
If you'll wait here in the library, I'll tell Dad you've come.
The library of Stanley Towner, my new client, was as somber as his living room, except for one thing. Over a fireplace that half filled one wall was a life-size portrait of a woman. A most beautiful woman. Could have been a painting of what the girl who had just left would look like in another 25 years. I was still staring at the picture when Stanley Towner came in.
That's a portrait of Margaret, my wife. We lost her 1 week ago today.
I'm sorry, Mr. Towner.
Well, we'd been expecting it for over a year. The doctors had warned us, but even when you're braced for a blow like that,
Yes, I know what you mean.
It was her heart, Marlowe. She was coming home from a shopping trip in Westwood last Tuesday evening when it happened. She had her own car and was just pulling into the garage here when the attack seized her. Catherine, my daughter, and I both heard her car hit the garage wall. We ran out and found her. The doctor did everything possible, but Wednesday morning she was dead. I'm sorry.
It's all right, Mr. Towner.
I must tell you all this because the reason I called you here has to do with Margaret's death.
I don't understand.
I've got to get Margaret's watch back.
A what? A watch?
Yes, a wristwatch. It's, well, I'll try to explain. I loved my wife very deeply, Marlowe. Now that I've lost her, the most important thing in the world to me is the preservation of her memory. Can you understand that?
Well, it's natural that you'd cling to things that remind you of her, Mr. Towner. Now, what about the watch?
It's lost. Somewhere in Camino Beach. You know where that is?
Yes, a few miles below Redondo.
Yes, that's right. The day Margaret died, I had taken her watch with me to have it repaired. I went down the coast on some business, and on the way back I stopped at Camino Beach for lunch. A place called the Trade Winds.
You had the watch with you when you went in?
Yes, in my overcoat pocket. I came out, got in my car, and was halfway back to my office before I realized it was gone. I've got to get it back, Marlowe.
How much is it worth?
In cash, about $500, but to me, now, it's worth 20 times that.
What's the watch like?
It's a Benris, platinum, and set with emeralds.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it to Margaret on our 20th wedding anniversary. There's an inscription on the back to Margaret from Stanley, eternal love. I know that watch is somewhere in Camino Beach. Can you find it and bring it back here to me?
There's nothing more you can tell me?
Well, unfortunately, that's all there is.
I'll do my best. But, I can't guarantee a thing. The cabbie waiting outside drove me back to the gas station on Wilshire, where I picked up my own car, fresh off the grease rack, and headed for the ocean and the sunset. It was getting dark by the time I reached Camino Beach, a rickety, salt-caked little town jumbled in between the highway and the surf. Well, my first stop was the Tradewinds Cafe, a waterfront shack on spindly legs standing knee-deep in a smelly backwash. It only took 10 minutes to find that there was nothing there for me. After that, I drew a blank at each of the 3 hock shops in town. Wound up an hour and a half later, no farther than the sidewalk curb, where I watched a traffic cop brand my tire with his parking marker, plant a heavy foot on my bumper to steady his bike, and light a cigarette.
Hiya. Is your car?
Yeah. What is it? Am I overparked?
Nope, not yet. Just borrowing your bumper a minute. Mine?
Of course not. Got a lot of scratches already. Say, that's a fancy chalk label you put on the side of that tire there. Z, the mark of Zorro, huh?
No, the mark of Ziegler. That's me. Just a little thing I worked out to add a personal touch to my business. You're a stranger around here, aren't you?
Yeah, from L.A.
Uh-huh. Saw you coming out of the pawn shop there. You don't look like the type.
Well, I'm not, as long as my luck holds. Actually, a friend of mine lost a wristwatch here in town. I'm trying to locate it.
Pretty good watch, is it?
Yeah, good enough. The really tough part is that it has a very big sentimental value. I've tried all 3 of the pawn shops in town, but, no dice.
You know, if I had a friend who'd lost a good watch, I think I'd check in at Sean's bicycle shop on 3rd Street.
Well, thanks a lot, Ziegler.
Don't mention it. Oh, incidentally, I wouldn't bother to tell him who sent me down if I was you. So long.
Hello, anybody there? Hello, Sean?
What do you want? I'm closed for the night.
I'm, interested in a lady's wristwatch, Mr. Sean.
How do you know? And just how does that bring you to a bicycle shop?
Look, we both know you're a fence, so let's not waste time on that. The watch I'm after is platinum, set with emeralds, and has an inscription on the back. To Margaret from Stanley with eternal love.
A bright sentiment, I'm sure.
Have you seen the watch?
No.
Look, Sean, either I beat your tongue as limber as the St. Bernard's ears, or you accept this $20 in exchange for some straight information. Peacefully. Now take your choice and take it fast.
$20. What kind of a choice is that? But I don't have the watch, bucko.
But you have seen it.
Oh, yeah. 5-6 days ago, a fella brought that watch in here, wanted to know what it was worth. I said $500. He laughed in my face.
Who was this guy?
You mentioned something about $20.
Oh, yes. Here. All right, now give.
Yeah, that's better. His name is Chip Menashe. In summers, he works in the concessions in the pier. In winters, he's nothing more than a beachcomber. Lives in a little room out on the pier behind the shooting gallery, and that bucko is your $20 worth.
It had better be, Shane, or I'll be back for my change. The amusement pier was deserted. When I finally found the one-room shack tacked on behind the shooting gallery, it was dark and quiet. I knocked once, got no answer. So I pushed a wad of rags out of a broken pane of glass in the door, reached inside, and unsnapped the lock and went in. With the light from the one naked overhead bulb, I started through the room. On a packing crate that passed for a dresser, I found a week-old newspaper clipping that said the body of one Leon Stice of Camino had been found on an isolated beach Wednesday morning, shot in the chest. No apparent reason. Stice was survived by his wife, Nancy, of 320 Front Street. I got real busy wondering why a bum like Chip Menashe saved old newspaper clippings of murder stories when a noise outside turned me toward the open door.
What are you doing in my place?
You weren't home, so I came in to wait.
You a cop or something?
No, I'm no cop, Menashe. The name's Marlowe.
Huh?
Maybe we can do business. Sit down.
I don't get you.
I collect old watches. A mutual friend sent me, Menashe.
Yeah?
I'm interested in ladies' watches, particularly. Maybe something in platinum with emeralds.
Okay, Pelly, what's the proposition?
Nothing until I see the merchandise. Now, how about putting it on display, huh?
I can't hear you, Pelly.
Come on now. Where's the watch?
Don't rush me, mister. Don't rush me. You'll get you nowheres.
All right. Make me a proposition.
10 grand?
10,000?
Uh-huh.
You must be out of your mind.
Yeah, we'll see who's out of their minds. That's a very valuable watch. Maybe you better get out of here and add it all up again.
Yeah, maybe I'd better at that. But, Menashe, don't go away, because I'll be back.
I won't go away. I know when I'm sitting on top of the pile.
As I walked away, a hunch kept whispering to me that the body of a guy named Leon Stice, found on a lonely beach, was somehow tied in. So I decided to pay a call on his widow. I drove down Front Street to number 320, but there was nobody home. As a matter of fact, the only sign of life on the entire block was a red neon Pelican in a blue neon martini glass above the door of a bar across the street. So I walked over and went in. A couple of questions later, I found Nancy Stice sitting alone in the back. The offer to buy a drink was the only introduction I needed.
Sure, you can buy me a drink. Hey, Charlie.
Okay, Nancy.
I'm an old friend of your husband's, Nancy. I just heard.
That louse didn't have no friends.
Yeah, Nancy. Something for you, mister?
No. Here, keep
Thanks.
it.
Mud in your eye. Nah. I got nothing against Leon Stice, except 25 years of living with him in a Camino Beach rat hole on nothing. That's all.
Any idea why he was killed?
For the role he was carrying.
After what you just said, that makes no sense.
That's the way it was. And I didn't get one red cent of it. It was all gone when they found him.
Did you tell the cops he had money on him?
Nah. I hate cops.
Yeah, sure. Where did Leon get this dough?
Told me he ran into an old acquaintance who was staking him. Some guy named Martin Vogel who used to live here in Camino Beach years ago.
Martin Vogel was staking him? To what?
Leon said him and Vogel was going in business together. The cash was in advance. Oh, sure, he was going to be such a big shot.
What kind of business, Nancy?
Just between you and me, the only business that crummy mind of his would work on was blackmail. Take it from me. Now, how about another drink for his grief-stricken widow, huh?
I'll, leave a buck on the bar on my way out.
In just a moment, the second act of Philip Marlowe. But first,
some very important words. April 11th, 1950, The Adventures of Philip Marlowe on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Hi, this is Kyle Horvath with the White Pine County Tourism and Recreation Board. If you want to get away from the big cities and get back to nature this summer, give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net. There's so much to do and see I can't mention it in 30 seconds, but check out our website and you'll see what Nevada is really all about. elinevada.net or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net.
Now more of the Adventures of Philip Marlowe with William Conrad sitting in for Gerald Mohr from April 11th, 1950, the anniversary gift.
I left the Pelican Club, got into my car, and started for the local law on the chance that I could learn something more about the new question mark I'd picked up named Martin Vogel. 10 minutes later, I parked my car under the cracked globe that oozed sick purple light over a weather-beaten sign, Camino Beach Police. A fat sergeant huddled over what could have been the original teletype machine. When I presented my credentials, he jabbed a fat finger at a dirty glass door marked Captain Elvin Bush, Chief of Detectives. Inside, a small old man, neat in a clean white shirt, groomed silver hair, and a gentle smile, was strapping on a shoulder holster when I put my license on his desk. When I stopped talking, he got up and extended an almost delicate hand.
I certainly hope we can help you, Mr. Marlowe. Martin Vogel, you say?
Yes, it might have been a long time ago, Captain, maybe even 25 years, if he was mixed up with the police at all. Do your records go back that far?
Oh, yes, by the apple crate load. And I mean that literally, Mr. Marlowe. You see, in Camino Beach, police files, fixtures, and furniture are somewhat lacking. City appropriations only go where they show. Public bird baths, statues of the mayor, and... Oh, here. This bottom crate here. Marked, let's see.
1921 to 1930.
Figure he was arrested along in there, this Vogel?
Yeah, if he was arrested. Yeah, it's dusty, isn't it?
Well, the cards are alphabetical.
Yeah. And let's see. Riker, Rooney, Stemple.
By the way, Mr. Marlowe, what's your angle?
I'm not sure, Captain. Svensson, Underley, Utterman, Van. Vogel. Martin.
Got it, eh?
Yeah, picture and all.
Bring it over here in the light.
Yeah. Martin Vogel arrested Camino Beach Hotel, May 28, 1923, on warrant from Chicago, Illinois police. Returned to Chicago, sentenced to 5 years in state penitentiary for embezzlement. Arresting officer, Patrolman Elvin Bush.
Picked him up myself, did I? Well, I've locked up a lot of people in the last 35 years.
Yeah, I guess you have it. Holy smokes.
Huh?
What? That can't be.
What is, Mr. Marlowe? You look kind of pale.
There was no mistaking it. The time-yellowed picture of Martin Vogel made it plain. Vogel and my client, the distinguished Mr. Stanley Towner, were one and the same. That meant that Towner had lied to me, and more important, had no doubt killed Leon Stice, who was blackmailing him because he knew he was Vogel. I left Captain Bush piled into my car and pointed it back for the amusement pier, where one way or another I was going to get Chip Menashe to fill in a few remaining blanks for me.
Yeah, who is it?
Marlowe, Menashe. I want to talk business.
Okay, Marlowe. Looks like I doped it right. I thought you'd come back.
All right. Now get up. And listen hard. I want the watch and the story that comes with it.
I told you my price. It's still 10 grand.
You're bluffing, Menashe. You know the watch means money, but you don't know why.
Yeah, Mr. Weisenheim?
All right, now come on, talk.
Okay, quit. I'll tell you what you want. I took the watch from Leon Stice. I found him dead on the beach. It was clenched in his fist.
And the dough you're spending?
Was in his wallet. Let me up, will you?
All right, come on. Now sit over there. Hands in your lap. School isn't out yet.
What more do you want, Marlowe?
How do you tie the watch in with Stanley Towner?
What makes you think I did?
The fact that I was sent here to Camino Beach and the fact that you were ready and waiting for somebody. Well?
Okay. I was lucky. When I read about Stice in the papers, I also just happened to read another article that oddity, you might say, about a woman in Beverly Hills. A rich man's wife who got a heart attack in her car just she pulled into her garage. Woman called Towner, front name Margaret. Wife of a big shot broker, also called Towner, front name Stanley. I went from there. I was shrewd.
Yeah, genius. Okay, now give me the watch. Come on, let's have it.
All right, get your mitts off. Here. Now you're real happy, Muscles? Happy that you... Hey, cops. Coming this way.
Hey, Menashe, wait a minute! By the time I got to the door, he was halfway across the boardwalk to his car. But Captain Bush and his sergeant were ready and waiting. When Menashe was next to the gun he kept in his glove compartment, the spotlight on the squad car slashed through the dark, found him, and froze him in a position.
We've got you, Menashe. You'd better quit. Menashe, do you hear me?
Yeah. No, you listen, copper.
Let him have it, Becker.
The windshield sprang into little pieces.
That got him. Come on, Becker. Yeah, Captain.
I waited until Captain and Becker were next to the body and had lifted it off the steering wheel. Then I moved quietly along the side of the buildings as far as the squad car. There, I turned and started back toward them. Hey, what happened? Oh, it's you, Captain.
What brings you around here, Mr. Marlowe?
A guy in town told me that somebody named Chip Menashe might give me a lead on Martin Vogel.
You won't be able to now. That's Menashe.
What?
We wanted him for a week-old stick-up murder.
Stick-up murder? That guy on the beach?
The same. Say, Becker, did you find the money on him?
Right, some $300, Captain.
Good. Well, he's better call for the wagon now.
Check.
Funny thing, Mr. Marlowe. One fingerprint did it.
Oh, how's that?
That guy on the beach, Leon Stice. We found his empty wallet in the sand next to him. It had an isinglass front over his driver's license with a thumbprint that wasn't his.
But was Chip Menashe's, huh?
We got on to Menashe because he was spreading a lot of dough around. Today, Becker got down here and lifted one of his prints.
That cinched it, huh?
Yes, that and the shot he just threw at me.
Strictly a stick-up killer who got caught.
Marlowe, about this Martin Vogel, you still want to let it go that the Beverly Hills police are going to get in touch?
I think so. Good night, Captain Bush.
April 11th, 1950, The Adventures of Philip Marlowe on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The Overstock sale continues at MyPillow.com. Deep discounts on Giza Dream Sheets, MyPillow original pillows, the My Slippers, half price. I love mine. And with every order you make by going to MyPillow.com/radio specials, you'll get a free copy of Mike Lindell's book, What Are the Odds? From Crack Addict to CEO. MyPillow.com/radio specials, promo code USA. You clean everything else in your house, why don't you clean the air? It's easy to do with an Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier. They're under $200 for a 3-pack. You can put one in the kitchen, you can put one in the living room, you can put one in that room that you always flush. Go to EdenPureDeals.com, put in my promo code CLASSIC3 and you'll save $200. EdenPureDeals.com, discount code CLASSIC3 and you'll also get free shipping.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, starring William Conrad sitting in for Gerald Mohr, from April 11th, 1950.
The ride back to Beverly Hills was an uncomfortable hour and a half, cold and empty. I was glad that I had things to do like stop and start and shift gears. It kept me from thinking too much about a lot of things and a lot of people I wish I'd never heard of. People like Stanley Towner, who I had every reason to be against, but who I was starting to pull for. Stanley Towner, a man who had started all over again after a single mistake made 25 years ago. A man who had fought to build good things, like a comfortable home, a marriage to a woman in a painting, a 16-year-old likeness named Catherine. But Stanley Towner, who was also a killer on a lonely stretch of beach far from home, destroying something rotten who would destroy him. A killer that nobody knew about, except me. Well, I pulled into the driveway and parked behind the car that had been Margaret's. As I got out, the light of the garage went on and the side door of the house opened. I felt almost wrong dropping my hand around the .38 in my side pocket.
Good evening, Mr. Marlowe. You have the watch?
Yeah. I had quite a tussle getting hold of it.
I imagined you would.
Menashe's dead, Mr. Towner.
Menashe? Who is Menashe, Mr. Marlowe?
The reason you hired me? The man who called you and dangled this bait? Yeah, you were right. It's a beautiful watch, Mr. Vogel.
Vogel? You know about it?
Yeah, they keep police files a long time. I know about everything. Except why you didn't go after the watch yourself.
Well, I was afraid.
Afraid to show yourself in a town where somebody might remember you, huh? The town in which you had committed a murder, is that it?
Yes, that's it exactly.
Dad? Dad, is that you down there?
Yes, dear. Me, Mr. Marlowe.
Oh, well, why don't you come into the house? It's so late and it's chilly. You'll catch your death of cold out there.
Yes, in a while, dear. Now go back to bed.
All right. Good night, Dad.
Good night, dear.
Well, good night, Mr. Marlowe, and please make him do as I say, will you?
Yes, I will, Catherine. Good night.
Do you mind if we go along to the police at once, Mr. Marlowe? I'd rather she didn't know right now. Tomorrow is soon enough. And can we take your car?
Yeah. The lights go off out here?
Yes. The switch is on the garage wall over there.
Okay, get in.
All right.
You know, Mr. Towner, I'm sorry about Catherine and the way she's going to be hit by this thing.
The switch is there on your right. On your right, Mr. Marlowe.
Yeah.
It was a very nice house.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Towner, you certainly loved Margaret a lot, didn't you?
Completely, Mr. Marlowe.
And her memory, too?
Why do you ask?
Something that makes me awfully happy. Mr. Towner, you didn't kill Leon Stice.
Marlowe, what are you saying?
That you never lost your wife's watch at Camino Beach. You never had it. She lost it herself. Lost it when she struggled with Leon Stice just before she killed him for your sake. For you and Catherine and everything you've worked for.
No, Marlowe, no.
Yes, Margaret had a bad heart. She knew she didn't have long to live. Also, she knew that Stice was blackmailing you. It figures, Towner. And what also figures is that you'd rather pay for a murder that you didn't commit than to have Margaret's name soiled.
Yes, I would, and I will, because you can't prove any of this.
Correction, Mr. Towner, I can. With your wife's car there in the garage, the car in which she died on what you said was her return from Westwood.
Which it was?
No, not according to a funny little chalk mark I just saw on one tire, it wasn't. A little white Z that a policeman named Ziegler in Camino Beach makes to check on parking time. And we can go on from there. Your confession won't mean a thing.
But, Marlowe, it must. No, I guess it won't. I guess you can't hide the truth very often, can you?
No. Only once in a great while. And then, strangely enough, only when it seems like the right thing to do.
What do you mean? Why did you stop the motor?
There's one thing I haven't told you yet. The way things worked out in Camino Beach, Mr. Towner. The police there think that Menashe killed Leon Stice, and they're happy that way. They never heard of you or your wife. And I don't see why they should. No.
Yes.
I mean that nobody really knows the whole story.
Nobody except you, Marlowe.
Nobody, Mr. Towner. Good night.
Thank you, Mr. Marlowe. Good night.
sure and be with us again next week when Philip Marlowe says...
This time I was in the country where the night should have been nothing but peace and quiet. But a pair of angry eagles changed all that. One was solid gold and too close to a battered corpse. The other weighed 160 pounds and was too quick with his fists, in or out of the ring.
The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, bringing you Raymond Chandler's most famous character, tonight starred Bill Conrad, are produced and directed by Norman MacDonald, and are written for radio by Robert Mitchell and Gene Levitt. Featured in the cast were Sammy Hill, John Daner, Gene Bates, Ralph Moody, Larry Dobkin, Harry Bartell, and Edgar Barrier. The special music is composed and conducted by Richard Orant. This is Roy Rowan speaking for CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
April 11th, 1950, The Adventures of Philip Marlowe on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you.
And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required.
Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary.
800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, another episode of the weekly comic promotional program, The Adventures of Jungle Jim. This was originally broadcast April 11th, 1936.
Presenting The Adventures of Jungle Jim. Last week, Shanghai Lil visited the Chinese messenger who had left the letter for Jungle Jim, and she threatened to kill him. When Jungle Jim reached Patrick O'Shaughnessy Flynn's cafe, he was given the latest news of Shanghai Lil and also the letter from the mysterious Chinese. It told Jim to make a secret visit to the writer, Lo Tung, at the hotel. When Jim followed the mysterious instructions, Lo Tung told him he had been sent by the American consul at Shanghai to ask Jim's aid. Before he could complete his message, a shot rang out and the Chinese messenger fell to the floor. The thrilling adventures of Jungle Jim are pictured each Sunday in the Comic Weekly, the world's greatest pictorial supplement of humor and adventure. The Comic Weekly, each page printed in full colors, is distributed everywhere as an integral part of your Hearst Sunday newspaper. And now we continue our story. As Lo Tung falls to the floor, Jungle Jim bounds from his chair and drops beside him.
Lo Tung, speak to me. Lo Tung, speak. Who's there?
Sure, and it's me, Jim. Are you all right?
Oh, Pat Flynn. Yes, I'm all right. Wait a second. Come in, Pat, quick.
I thought I heard a shot as I came down the hall, Jim.
You did, Pat.
Holy St. Patrick. What's happened here? Jim, you didn't...
No, I didn't shoot him. The shot came through the window. See the broken pane?
Is he hurt bad, Jim?
I don't know yet. He's dead.
Dead, is it? Oh, the Lord have mercy on him. As meek as pie he was, and he always tucked his shirt in his pants like a civilized human, too. Did you find out what he was here for, Jim?
You just told me he had been sent by the American consul at Shanghai to enlist my aid when the shot rang out, and there he fell where he was standing.
You don't say. But how could anybody have timed it so well to shut him off like that?
I think they planned to kill him before he said as much as he did, but they arrived too late.
Yeah, there's no fire escape on this side of the hotel. How did the murderer shoot through the window, Jim?
We'll see. Turn out the light, Pat.
Yes.
Come here now.
Yes.
Don't get in front of the window, though, in case our friend takes another pot shot into the room.
I'll stand well to one side of the window, Jim. Never fear for Patrick O'Shaughnessy Flynn sticking his neck out when the other fella has the advantage.
Look there, Pat.
Yes?
Whoever killed this China boy must have been stationed in that tree outside the window.
Be jabers if it ain't so. But neither hide nor hair do I see the murderer.
No, he sure made a quick getaway. All right, Pat. You can turn the lights on again.
And no sooner said than done. Sure, and it's a good thing I made up my mind to close up the cafe and come up here after you, Jim.
Yeah.
I had a hunch. And mind you, I'm not the one to be given to anything supermental. I had a hunch that something was going to happen.
Is that so?
Yes, of course. I couldn't help suspicioning the little yellow clam here, Lord have mercy on him, on account of us not knowing anything about him or what he was up to. And he was sent here to get you to help his side, eh?
Yeah, so it seems. Boy, if they had only fired that shot a few minutes later, we'd have known what this was all about.
Yeah, bad says to whoever did it, says I. Well, what are you going to do now, Jim?
Call the manager.
But, Jim...
Hello. Hello, Bill. This is Jim Bradley talking. Better come up here right away. Your Chinese guest, Lo Tung, has just been murdered. Yeah. He was shot from outside while we were talking. Right.
What does he say?
He said not to touch anything. He'll be right up.
That's a good thing he'll find me with you, Jim. I'm a witness for you.
Yes, but not an eyewitness, Pat.
Be jabbers, I never thought of that.
Now, you can say what you like about why you came here, Pat. But don't repeat what I told you Lo Tung said to me.
Sure, and why not? It's the truth. And as Father Regan used to say, sticks and stones may break your bones, but the truth can't never hurt you.
Well, this is one time Father Regan's proverb is wrong. It can.
Yeah, what do you mean by that now?
Just this. We don't know who was in that tree out there, but whoever was in that tree doesn't know that Lo Tung managed to tell me about the American consul at Shanghai. Now, by telling the truth, we'll be tipping our hand.
I see it now. You mean if you give the murderer enough rope, he'll hang himself?
That's the idea, Pat. Oh, just a second, Bill. I forgot the door was still locked.
Say, this is terrible. Oh, hello, Pat. Jim, I heard that shot and I looked out, but didn't see anyone. I never suspected anything was wrong up here, Jim.
The shot came through the window from that tree out there, Bill. Better send it to the authorities. Come along, Pat.
No, but Jim, they may want to question you.
If they want me, I'll be at my camp.
Meanwhile, on their camp at the jungle trail, the Reverend Chalmers arouses his daughter from her sleep.
Lynn, dear, wake up, dear.
Is it morning? Why, Dad, what's the matter?
Help me to break camp, Lynn. We're leaving at once for Burawane.
We're what?
I said we're leaving at once for Burawane. You must help me to break camp.
Of course, Dad. But why in the middle of the night like
Dear,
this?
don't waste time asking questions. Just do as I say. I've got most of the supplies stowed away in the motorboat. There's just the tent and a few odds and ends. I let you sleep as long as I could.
I don't understand this. You didn't say anything at supper about us going to Burawane.
I know. Roll up the beds while I loosen the guy ropes and pull up the stakes, Lynn.
Right away, Dad. As soon as I get my eyes open. We've gone this long without a guide. I should have thought we could wait until morning to start for Burawane.
We're not going down for a guide, my dear.
Are you taking me to Burawane to send me back to Mother?
Oh, Lynn, dear, I've asked you not to waste time asking questions.
Well, I don't think it's fair if you are. I told you I'd think it over about going back to Shanghai, and I haven't decided yet.
Oh, give me a hand here. Now, let's get the tent folded up. Now, fold it this way first.
Yes, Dad.
That's it. Now, this way.
Right.
Fine. You can put the beds in the boat, Lynn, while I'm rolling the tent up.
All right, Dad. But you can't change the subject as easily as that.
Oh, Lynn, bring me back a pail of water to put out the fire.
All right.
I'll pack up the kitchen utensils.
Here's the water, Dad.
Thanks, dear. You can stow these things away while I put out the fire. Then I'll bring down the tent and we can get underway.
Then will you tell me what this is all about?
Yes, I'd better.
I'm glad you realized that.
Now then, let's stow this tent away. That's it. I don't think we've forgotten anything.
Well, Dad, I'm waiting. What is this all about?
Lynn, I want you to watch me carefully while I start the engine. First, you turn this valve up like this. Then you squirt a little petrol in it, like this. Then you close the valve, spin the flywheel, like this. There she goes. This is the way to stop it. You think you could do it by yourself?
Yes, I think so, but...
Good. Now, here is the map of the river. There's Burawane down there. And here's where we are at the present moment. The only dangerous part of the river is through this part marked in red. We must keep in the center while running along here.
There's a channel in the center and submerged rocks on either side. We mustn't lose our propeller, you know.
Of course I know that, Dad. But you're talking as though I were going to make this trip alone.
You may be, Lynn.
What do you mean?
Well, just that. You may make the trip alone. That's why I'm giving you these careful instructions. You see, my dear, I haven't been feeling well for the last day or two.
Why, Dad, why haven't you told me before?
Oh, I thought I could fight it off. But tonight I woke up feeling worse. I know it's no use. I've got to get to a doctor. That's why we're starting for Burawani tonight. Lynn, your father's a very sick man.
Before returning to his camp outside of the town, Jungle Jim goes to the cafe with Patrick O'Shaughnessy Flynn for a few moments.
Yes, sir. 'Tis a queer, busy business all around, Jim. Now, stand right here where you are until I get the light lit.
Okay, Pat.
There we are. You can come in now and shut the door, Jim. Now I'll fix us up a little nightcap.
Thanks. I can't figure this out, Pat. I wonder what in blazes the American consul at Shanghai could want with me.
Well, now, maybe he needs an assistant, Jim.
He may need an assistant, but I couldn't be that for him.
Well, why not now?
No, there's a long string of names on the diplomatic waiting list for that office right now. No, Pat, it can't be anything official.
Well, when it comes to anything not official, be jabbers, you're the finest unofficial official in the whole country. All out of it.
Thanks, Pat.
And I'll stake me word of honor on that, Jim.
Oh, I'm afraid you're prejudiced.
Yeah, and who isn't of them as knows you, Jim?
How did that consul ever hear of me? I don't even know his name. Lo Tung was shot before I could learn that. It might be somebody I used to know back in the United States. Somebody who has worked his way up in the diplomatic corps while I've been tramping through these jungles.
Now, say, there's an angle I never thought of. It's more likely that's the way of it.
Pat, have you seen any other Orientals around here the past few days? Or was Lo Tung the only one?
Yeah, he's the only one I see, Jim.
But whoever shot poor Lo Tung knew that he wanted my help.
And that's the truth of it. But listen, what's that airplane doing around here this time of night?
Probably some Army scout plane. Pat, there's something mysterious behind the letter from the American consul and the sudden death of this Chinaman. I'm going to see this thing through.
Yeah, good for you, Jim, and I'll stick with you.
Well, I guess I'd better hit camp. See you in the morning, Pat.
Yes, sir, bright and early.
And remember, if the authorities come around, Lo Tung was killed just as he and I started to talk.
I'll remember everything you told me, but that, Jim.
Where's Jim? They told me I'd find him here.
For the love of... Shanghai Lil, what are you doing here this time of night?
Shut up. Where's Jim? Are you deaf? Where's Jungle Jim?
How can I answer when you told me to keep still?
All right, you can talk now.
Jim ain't here. He's gone to his camp outside town. Here! Where are you going?
Jim's camp. I want to see him.
That's quite a hike.
I'm not going to walk. I'll fly there in my new plane.
As Jim approaches his camp, a fast plane roars over his head. Then, with motor cut, it glides toward him. Jim runs to his tent. As he arrives, a girl in flying togs greets him.
Hello, Jim, darling.
Shanghai Lil, what in blazes?
Well, aren't you glad to see me?
Not particularly.
You will be when you hear what I have to say, Jim.
What is Shanghai Lil about to reveal to Jungle Jim? The adventures you have just heard dramatized appear in full-color action pictures in the Comic Weekly, the big Comic Weekly distributed with your Hearst Sunday newspaper everywhere. In the Comic Weekly, you will find all of the interesting, amusing, and adventurous characters who live in the world of colored pictures. You will chuckle with Bringing Up Father, laugh at the antics of the Little King, and roar at the adventures of Skippy. There is also Barney Google, Flash Gordon, the Katzenjammer Kids, and many, many others. Don't forget our date next week, same station, same time, for a continuation of the adventures of Jungle Jim.
Yeah, back in 1936, color comics in the newspaper was a really big thing. Now newspapers are hard to find. April 11th, 1936, The Adventures of Jungle Jim on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. If you miss a day on this station, you don't have to miss a single show on our radio station. You can hear our shows on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or Amazon. Even Facebook. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. That's Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. You can also find them at our webpage, classicradio.stream. Thank this station, support their advertisers, tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.